3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 230, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Oh shit, it's the wrong way again. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
Yeah, my camera's all backwards again. What did I do? What did I do? I need to flip this. Oh, that's not right. That's
Oh,
really
that's
not
that's
right.
even better right there.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep. Now I'm upside down, guys. Now I'm upside down. So what? How did I? Oh shit! What did I do? One of these is the right one, but no, that wasn't it. I'm gonna get this right. There.
Yes,
Whoa.
we're
Whew.
professionals.
Yeah, man.
Don't try this at home.
Right? There we go. Now you're on the right side of me. Now my screen looks right, and you can see the scarves behind me. So, and the door. More scarves. The couch. You'll probably see a dog. Except they're laying down, so apparently, it's nighttime for them. Alright, guys, like we haven't done this before. It's been a little while. Welcome back to Geekvice. How you doing, Kip?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Not too shabby. Finally got I got my both monitors working. Um, got the video games all a running. And man, have you ever like played a video game and then got like a better computer and played the same video game on the better computer?
Yeah, but it's been a while since I'm a
So
console gamer.
right, well, that's true, and it's like well, and it almost makes me wonder if that's why they don't do that, like don't do a lot of backwards compatibility with consoles because you know to me it seems a little odd that all of a sudden a console can no longer play previous versions of games. The software doesn't change that much, but the hardware changes, and it's amazing. So I started playing some of the games that I was playing on my laptop, and I'm playing them on the new desktop, and holy mother of God, even when I turn the settings down really low, it still looks amazing. It's like it's just night and day different, and it's almost like, huh, why was I ever playing it on that old, on that laptop? Like that was awful, bad idea. It was like I wonder what it would be like if you tried to play, go back and play if you could actually play an old console game on a new computer, if it would be, like, or a new console, if it would just make you go, why was I using that thing, that turd bucket? I don't know.
Well, that and then you won't buy any of the new games because you're revisiting your old games.
Yeah, which is true. Which is true. I haven't bought a new game in a while, although there's a couple that are on sale. Humble Bundle has a deal going on, and if I was smart, I didn't even really plan on this. But we're talking about video games today. If you guys haven't figured it out, we're talking about video games, and
What?
yeah. But here it wouldn't be Geekvice unless if we didn't talk about some tabletop games. So Humble Bundle has a bundle called the Digital Tabletop, which has games. These are computer versions of Ticket to Ride, also the Android version of Ticket to Ride, Sentinels versus the Sentinels of the Multiverse, which is a card game, like a collector card game.
Right.
Mysterium for Steam or for Windows, I guess. Oh, that's Windows and Steam. Also Mysterium for Android. And that is all for the low, low price of $1.
Sweet. You gonna
Yeah.
do it? You gonna pull the trigger?
Oh, I think I will. And I might actually go up and buy the next version up. There's for $5.84 you can get Pathfinder's Adventures, Carcassonne, a DLC for Sentinels of the Multiverse, Talisman, the digital edition, and like 3 expansions. which I don't know if you heard of Talisman,
Yeah.
the card game.
It's one of those board games that's hard to get to the table because it takes freaking forever.
Yeah. So, I mean, having a Steam version of that could be kind of cool. You can get all of that plus all the stuff I said before for just under $6. And if you go up to $10, you can get all that plus Armello, which is it's a video game, but it's kind of based off of it's kind of a tabletop feel, like you're playing a board game type thing.
Hmm. Never heard
So,
of it.
but it wasn't a board game to begin with. It was created as a video game, just with the board game feel. But yeah,
Gotcha.
that's for $10, and like, and I can get all that stuff for $10. Yeah, there's a high probability I'm buying all that stuff. So yeah, why
Sounds
wouldn't
like a
I?
good idea to me.
There, I'll be buying more video games, which is exactly what I shouldn't be doing. But hey,
Hey,
whatever.
that's why you built the computer so you
That's
can do
right.
stuff like
Yeah. Sound like my house is falling apart. Somebody dropped something upstairs. Um. So
that. But you're
yeah.
home alone.
Uh, yeah. Right. Oh no, it's a ghost in the attic. Um. Yeah. I forgot where we were at. Like, haven't done this in a while. Sorry we missed last week, guys. I'm just jabbering. Haven't even been drinking tonight.
Man.
Um, yeah, we missed last week. Life got in the way. Work is kind of a pain, and I've volunteered for way too much stuff, and I'm pulled in too many different directions. But hopefully, we don't miss too many more of those. And I know you were crazy last week too.
Yeah, last week was no fun at all. So I'm glad that week's over. I'm glad we can get back to it.
Right. So, I don't know. Have you done anything fun over the last 2 weeks? You still playing board games? How's the board game night going?
Board game night is good. Just like our podcast, it didn't happen last week. But yeah, we've been fairly consistent, which is nice. And because of that, I even well, two reasons. One, we've been consistent, and two, I got a $50 gift card for Amazon, so I had to buy a game.
Yeah, you did.
So we'll talk about that sometime down the road, actually, as I get it to the table. But that's how good things have been going with the gaming group that I was confident enough that I could buy a new game and get it to the table.
That's cool. That is very cool. That's always good to know, like when like things fall in place like that, and you can get something that actually get some use out of it. Um, I'm all in. I like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
So, well, what just give us a little teaser. What is this game? What's the name of it?
The name of the game is Spirit Island,
Is it
and
is it like Forbidden Island?
uh, no, it is cooperative like Forbidden Island, and it
That's
has
cool.
island in the name. That's pretty much where it is. That's where the similarities end.
That's enough. That's enough. That's right
Yeah.
there. That's perfect. They're exactly the same. I'm good.
No, there. Ignore the man in the head with the headphones.
Yeah.
Now we'll get into it, but it's basically like a tree hugger's wet dream.
Oh, geez.
You are you are basically the spirits of this island, and humans are trying to colonize and destroy the island, and you are fighting to kick them off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this time the island's fighting back. So
Very cool. Sounds cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, I haven't really. I honestly, we haven't played very many board games. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. Actually, the game that we've played the most here recently is Forbidden Island. We've actually played that game probably 3 or 4 times over the last couple weeks. Because one, it plays really quickly, and two, when you need a little bit of family time, you can pull that game out and you have fun all working together. And unfortunately, the last time we played, we actually lost, which was the first time we lost playing that game.
Do you what level of difficulty do you play it?
We have just been playing at novice, so it's like
Okay.
not the lowest one, but the next level up. So I think Reese said that him and Conley played, which is kind of funny. The two kids played it, and they tried to start at expert and lost really quickly. And I'm like, well, no kidding, like, duh. Um, but
Yeah.
it's funny because I almost think, and we have a lot of cooperative games because we like playing. It's the easiest way to bring in the youngest, who's only 6. He likes playing games, but he doesn't have the thought process yet to really be able to work at a to be able to think a lot of stuff through on his own. He needs help, and so cooperative games work really well for that. And um, we have also come to the conclusion that with cooperative games, the more people, even if the game says you can play up to, 4 or 6 people, the more people you add to the game, the harder the game gets, not the easier. And
Yeah,
I,
because the game gets more turns.
yeah, yeah. Well, and you cycle through the cards faster. Like like Forbidden
Yeah,
Island,
that's true.
it's all
Yeah.
about when the water rises cards come up, and you get through that treasure deck that has the water rises cards in it a lot faster with 4 people than you do with 2. And so when we were playing it with just with 2 people, and sometimes even 3, we were able to get through it really quickly and get to where we needed to go. And this last time, like, we we lost out by a turn basically. Like, we needed one more turn, and
That's usually how it happens.
yeah. But it gives me hope. It makes me want to play it like on some higher difficulties and see if we can't play a little bit smarter. Maybe use some of our free actions a little bit more. I think that's where we missed some stuff. We missed some chances on some free actions that if we would have used them, at the right time, it could have changed the way the game was played a little bit. Maybe given us that one extra turn that we needed. But you live and you learn, right? You can't win them all.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the Forbidden series is an interesting series. I mean, the Forbidden Island. You know, I loved the fact that it had those. I'm going to call them minis, but I don't know what
Yeah,
you actually call them.
the little
The
token.
trophies that you
Yeah,
win.
yes.
Those are pretty cool.
They look
And
really
then
cool.
Forbidden Desert takes the rules and takes it up a notch. And now they've got a new one that they unveiled around the Gen Con time frame called Forbidden Sky. And everything I've read, it sounds like it's more like a toy than a game because it has
Mm,
this. You're trying to like connect these circuits, and it has this rocket that you actually have, and it lights up and stuff. I guess
interesting.
I want to try it. That's for damn sure. But
Right.
yeah, I think the makers of the Forbidden series have done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Their games are a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like their stuff. So I'll have to check out Forbidden Sky. And I've played Forbidden Desert with you, but we don't have it here. So
I don't
um
think you've ever played it with me because I've never played it.
oh, really? I thought that was one we did. I thought you had that one.
No, I have Forbidden Island that you
Right.
actually have.
Yeah. No, for some reason I thought we had played Forbidden Desert. Maybe not.
No,
Okay.
nope. If
Well,
you did, it wasn't my copy because I
well,
don't own one.
I don't know who it was then. Because I thought I played it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just saw the box and thought, oh, that was really cool. Which is possible because it happens a lot with board games. You just
Yeah,
go into the
well, it
shop
happens.
and you look at that and you're like, oh, this looks really cool. I should play this sometime. And then it just in your head, you keep telling yourself that, yeah, I wanted to play that, so I did. And then it never actually happened. It happens a lot for me. I tell myself that I won the lottery, and I just believe myself that I won the lottery. Yeah, I haven't won the lottery.
And then you check your bank account and you're like, damn.
Ah, I didn't win the lottery. Yeah,
I did
exactly.
the opposite of that.
Oh, yeah. But let's get into video games because video games is why we are here. We love board games, but when you can't play board games, video games work really fun. And with the new computer, with the powerhouse that it is, I've been playing a lot of video games, breaking out the Steam library and playing some stuff. And I mean, you've been picking up free stuff on PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah. I have the PlayStation Plus account, which is like the Xbox Live. And just like Xbox Live, every month they say, "Here, you can download and play this game for free," which is nice because I think even if you find just one game, it pretty much pays for your yearly subscription.
Right. Yeah.
And I'd say in the last year, I think it's only been a couple of games I've downloaded and played and liked. So even just 2 out of 12
Yeah.
pays for the subscription.
Well,
So
and even if you try them and don't like them, it saves you a rental or a find it from the library, or God forbid you buy it and not like it. So I call that a
yeah,
win
that's a
too.
win. Yeah,
Yeah.
the money you spent is the money you saved. So yeah,
Right.
I guess that is fair. Or the
So
money you didn't spend is the money you saved. I don't know.
words are hard.
Words are very difficult. I should have been drinking.
Yeah, I second that one. All right, so you downloaded Bloodborne, which has got some critical acclaim to it.
Yeah.
Being a Miyazaki game. So yeah, what do you think about that sucker?
Well, we like to talk about new stuff. So this game came out in 2015.
Well, the stuff I got didn't come out any like. Well, it came out a little bit earlier, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I saw it on there. I knew it was a Dark Souls type of a game. So it took me a minute to talk myself into it. The deciding factor was it was free. If you don't like it, delete it. So I have tried Dark Souls games in the past. In fact, I own Dark Souls 3. And if you're not familiar with the Souls games, um, the two words you'll see more often than not is "you died," because you will
Yeah,
die a lot playing these games. And
yeah.
so Dark Souls 3, I got past the first boss and got so far into it, and for some reason I just stopped playing. But there was a lot of things about the gameplay that I hadn't figured out, like targeting and stuff like this. So downloaded Bloodborne and started playing it and started learning that hey, I can actually target people. This changes the game because there's things you can throw like Molotov cocktails without targeting. They just go any which direction and they don't hit the targets. So I wasted a lot of those in Dark Souls 3. Bloodborne, I finally learned how to do it. So I'm like, man, when I get through Bloodborne, I'm going back to Dark Souls 3. So anyway, so Bloodborne takes place. It's an RPG, and it takes place in a Victorian Gothic-looking city called Yarnum. And basically, everything has to do with blood. Thus, the name Bloodborne. There's like this bloodborne sickness that has infected this entire town and some of its outskirts. And it's kind of turned the residents into these, I'm not going to call them zombies, but they are some beast-like things. There you come across some stuff that's pretty effed up. And but then it's also like it's a dream, like it's a nightmare sequence. So you go forth and you kill things, and when you kill things you earn something that's called blood echoes, and that's the currency of the game, and you use that to level up and purchase things and all this other stuff. And if you get killed, you lose them. So you start out as level 10, and you'll play it for a long time before you get to a level 11. Because you get killed, and then it leaves like a blood spot where you died. And if you get there, you can recollect your blood echoes. But if you get killed again, that blood spot is wiped out, and whatever you had the next time you get killed is the new blood
Mm.
spot.
So you can actually lose your stuff here pretty quickly, or
Yeah,
you die too. If you die in sequence too quickly, you could.
yeah,
Uh, yeah.
I have lost over 40,000
Oh,
a couple of times, so
that sounds like a lot.
uh, it's a lot. It's painful. I've talked to a lot of people who play these kinds of games, and they're like, the game's just too frustrating. It pissed me off. I stopped playing. You got to get through that. Um, the game gives you nothing. It gives you nothing. You have to learn how to battle. You have to learn from your mistakes. Really, is what it's all about. You'll face something. It'll kick your ass, and then you got to go face it again, and then maybe you did a little bit better, but it still kicked your ass, and then you go back, and then finally you beat it. That's kind of how this game works. Um, the bosses, some of them are relatively easy. Some of them you're like, there's no way in hell I can beat this thing, but you eventually do. Um, so you you run across. So basically, you're trying to find the source of the bloodborne sickness. And as you go, you find out you're actually looking for the source of the dream. And so there's all this weird stuff going on. So it's even confusing to tell people what the game is about. But you start off and you're basically tied to a gurney, and like this weird guy is like hovering over you, telling you all this stuff, and then put you under. And then while you're under, all these ghoulies and stuff start coming at you, and then you wake up and now you're in this thing and you've got nothing but your bare hands, and you've got to survive and earn things, and you die a lot, and sometimes you have to die to forward the story, which is crazy to think of, but there are places you actually have to die, because then when you wake up you're somewhere else and it opens up a whole new area for you. So it's just that kind of a crazy game.
Jeez.
um, I actually finished it over the weekend.
Oh,
I
nice.
I I started the game. I can't remember for sure the date, but the first boss I killed was like April 7th. So I either started in late March or early April this game, and then I finished it
Or
August
yeah, I'll say
August 25th.
four, almost
So
5 months later, 4 months later.
yeah, so it, and I played it a lot. Ask the wife. I played it a lot. And it just takes that long. There's so many bosses. There's so many optional areas you go to. There's these things called chalice dungeons. You will find chalices and the ingredients to do the chalice ritual, and opens up these chalice dungeons that don't forward the story, but it allows you to find items you need and earn blood echoes and things to help you become stronger. Like I said, you start off at level 10. You earn blood echoes. You also earn something called insight. And once you have insight, you go back to this thing that's called the dream, hunter's dream. And there's this little doll sitting up against the wall. As soon as you start earning this thing called insight, all of a sudden the doll is standing there and it's alive. And that's how you level up.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like I said, you're level 10 forever because it takes a while to get any insight, and you die a lot. And then when the doll finally shows up, we're like, oh, let's see what I can do. And then each level you get, of course, is more and more expensive.
Yeah.
I think I'm at level 93 now.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so I've leveled up 83 times. I think leveling up now is pretty close to 50,000 blood echoes. It was like, I think less than 10,000 for the first time. But so, and it's funny how your style of play changes as well. I I could turn blood echoes in and buy stuff that's called buy Molotov cocktails. And at the beginning playing this game, I was so reliant on those things because I could throw them from a distance and kill things. And then later on, I could care less if I had any because now my axe was awesome and I could sneak up on people and I learned how to do stuff and I found a cannon which was freaking awesome.
Who doesn't love a cannon?
I do love a cannon. So your style of play changes as you get more powerful, as you earn things, as and some of the creatures figure your ass out. There are many times that I fought this thing over and over again, and then one time I go in there and it's like it knew my move set. It would beat me to a spot or whatever. It's like, okay, I got to change what I'm doing because it's figured me out.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so you work your way through Yarnum. You're earning blood echoes. You're finding things called blood shards, which is basically like dried blood crystals that you can take back and add to your weapon to make it more powerful. Um, you're earning insight. You earn insight by beating bosses, finding something called Madman's Knowledge, um, and doing all this stuff. And it's just crazy. The first area, Central Yarnum, I thought I'm never going to get through this because it's a big area and there's all these gates and doors and some of them are locked, some of them are locked from one side, some of them are locked by a device, and you have to go all the way through this whole area and come back and then open this gate that was right near where you started but you couldn't open it because the device was on the other side. And then once it's open, no matter if you get killed or not, it's always open. Now you've got the shortcut you can constantly use. So they at least gave us that.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like, oh, I need to get to the cathedral and I got to go all the way through all this crap again. Um, but they do that for you. It's like you have to earn opening that gate. Once you do, it's always there, and then you can just use that shortcut from now on. And I got turned around so many times in this game. I even opened up gates and it's like I have no idea where this gate is. I know it's a shortcut to somewhere, but I've opened it and I don't know where it is. And there's little hints that you have to pay attention to, like if you go up to a door or a window and it has a certain colored lantern, that means there's an NPC to interact with.
Oh, really?
Took me a long time to figure that out. And then I had to go back in all these areas I cleared and look for those things to make sure I didn't miss stuff. Then there's NPCs you fight, NPCs you talk to. You got to figure all this out on the fly
That's cool.
because you're a hunter. That's your whole role. You're a hunter. You're trying to get through this dream. You will run across old hunters. Some of them you talk to and they give you a quest to do. Some of them just want to kick your ass. You got to decide which one they are because if you attack one that just wants to talk to you, they're going to turn on you and whip your ass. When all you needed to really do was just walk up and talk. So, and then once you beat on them, it's not like, oh, you die, you go back, now you can talk to them. Oh, no. They hate
They're
you
gone.
forever until
Yeah.
you kill them. It's like,
Nice.
damn it. And then they give you quests that are kind of in riddle form. And then you just really stumble upon places that they wanted you to go and do something. And like I said, the game just gives you nothing. You got to figure it out on your own. And I'll admit it, I used YouTube a hell of a lot to figure
Right.
some things out because there was times I've cleared out an entire area and I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. Like I missed a turn somewhere or
Sure.
something. There's no way out of this. And I had to go to YouTube, and they're like, well, you dumbass, if you turn right here, there's this lever opens up this gate. And it's like, I never saw that, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's yeah, I can understand that problem. Those kind of games, I enjoy them. I enjoy the idea behind them, but like you said earlier, they just become so frustrating that I almost like just put them away. But if they can keep and that's the thing that it kind of drives me is especially in those type of games. In the I call them the hack and slash games, the games where you're really just you're trying to kill the next person in front of you in order to progress forward. Um, whether it's an RPG or whether it's just an action adventure type game, it still kind of has that same drive. You got to keep giving me new things, and this game sounds like it's got all those pieces that just make you like, oh yeah, you got to keep going because you got to find the next thing. You got to figure out, the next challenge, the next puzzle. Um, yeah, it sounds really
Beat the
cool.
next boss.
Yeah, yeah, and I
That's the thing. That's the trick to this game, and I think that's where a lot of people stop playing it. Is the beginning of the game is really freaking hard.
yeah,
Most places, most video games, the beginning of the game is the easiest part of the game. Not in these. You'll come across the first boss, which is the cleric beast, and he's going to trash you 10, 15 times in a row, and you're going to be like, fuck this game. But then you either watch a YouTube video or something, you're like, you know what, I can do this, and you just keep doing it until you finally do. And what do? You stand in your living room with your hands above your head like, yes, and you're like, I'm glad nobody could see me. And then it opens up another area, gives you insight, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I get to go exploring again. And that's the fun of the game. When you finally beat a boss, you've done something.
right,
And then the reward is this whole new area opens up, and you get to do all this exploring. You get to fight new creatures. You get to find new pieces of equipment and stuff. And it's like totally worth it. Then you get to the next boss, and you're like, oh man, I can't beat this one either. And then later on, I came across some bosses. Is like, there's no way in hell. And then I beat them my first try. And it's like, okay, so
so does the game
it's
so you said that the game starts off really hard. Does it feel like the game, not that the game gets easy, but does the game get easier as you progress? You start learning more tricks, more you get you level up, you start becoming a better character, and then you start learning how to work within the game itself to make the game uh, not easy because these games are never easy, but easier.
well, you feel like you have a fighting chance,
That
which is
maybe that
nice.
yeah, maybe that's
Here's a good example. You're going to go back to areas that you cleared before, and of course, everything comes back except for the boss and the NPCs. If you
right.
killed an NPC or a boss, they're gone forever. But everything else, all the townspeople and all that you have to fight, they come back. And Central Yharnam, like I said, is the first area. The first time you go through it, you kill a couple of guys, and it takes 3 or 4 slashes with the axe to kill them, and you're like, okay, this isn't too bad. And then there's like a group of 5 of them walking, and what you're supposed to do is you find these pebbles, and you pick one, you throw a pebble at him, and then he comes at you by himself. You kill him, and then you pick out the next one, him with a pebble. He comes at because uh, you can't take them all on at one time because
Right.
they will just thrash you.
Right.
Later on, you don't have to do any of that because one hit with the axe and they're dead.
Gotcha.
And so now I go through this. It's like, oh, there's that guy. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. And then there's this charge move. I use the axe most of the time, and you can either use the axe as a one-handed with a shorter handle, or you can extend it out and use it as two-handed. Well, I used it as two-handed a lot, and there's this thing where you charge it, and once it gets fully charged, it's like this windmill attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the point where I could just charge these people in large groups, just charge my attack, just wipe them all out in one swipe. And it's like, game's much easier now. But they take that into account. The areas you open, those are tougher to kill.
Right, right, yeah.
So they're the game giveth, the game taketh away. As you go, you light lanterns, and those are your save points. Um, you also earn these things that are called the Bold Hunter's Mark, which basically you can get so far in and you come across something like, I have too many blood echoes to fight him and lose them. So you can take one of those. It's called Reawakening. And it takes you back to your nearest lantern. And then you could take that lantern and go back to the home base, which is the hunter's dream, cash in your blood echoes.
Gotcha. So you don't lose them.
So you don't lose them. So you get smart with those, but you'll run out of the Bold Hunter's marks and you have to go and buy them and you have to make sure you have plenty of them.
Right.
And so it becomes serious resource management, as well as exploring and fighting and figuring crap out. Um,
Sounds
there's
like an
just areas.
in-depth RPG right there. In-depth
It's
RPG.
super in depth. I mean, like I said, I played the hell out of it, and it took me almost 5 months.
Yeah.
Pretty good amount of time.
Yeah.
Not
Uh,
like I was able to spend days in a row, but the weekends I would play from like Friday night from like 10 p.m. to like 2 in the morning. I do it Friday and Saturday
yeah.
and sneak in time whenever I could playing this game. So 5 months was a pretty big commitment.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Well,
So,
this game got a lot of good reviews. I mean,
oh man,
this thing was marked up. I mean, Metacritic's got it at 92. Um, there's pretty much every publication had this either at a 9. Uh, I think the lowest score is 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, you got 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, 9.75, 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10. I mean, these things are all over the place. Lots of 5-star reviews. Um, this game is out there, and when I was looking this stuff up, I was a little bummed that it's only for PS4 because it was only created, for Sony. Um,
yeah, it's Sony Entertainment. It says it right as you load it up
Yeah,
too.
which
So,
which is a bummer because this is a game that I would love to play, and I don't have Sony, so no
yeah.
Sony for me.
Send check or money order to Morph so he can get a PS4.
Right? Yeah, because that's the only
Any,
way it's happening.
yeah. Anyway, if you haven't played this game and you have a PS4, highly recommend it. Word of warning: the first month you play that game, you're going to be frustrated like hell.
You're gonna want to
But
stab people.
by the time you beat the third boss, which is Vicar Amelia, the world just opens up. And you're like, oh, I'm in this now. And then when you do reach a boss, it's not so scary.
Right.
You'll still lose to some of them. Some of them you're like, holy shit, I'm not going to beat this guy. And then some of them you're like, oh, that wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Um, so you get past that first month or however long it takes you to beat the third boss, then you're good. Then at least I was. Then I was in. Then I was like, I can do this. And still took me another 4 months after that, but still it's totally worth it. Um, the ending is actually pretty phenomenal.
That's
I won't
cool.
give it away.
Yeah, don't do that.
You have options to fight or not fight the final boss. I chose to fight, so I'm gonna either have to look it up and see what happens if you choose not to fight, or I'm just gonna play through it again and choose not to fight the next time and see what happens.
Very
Um,
cool. Very cool.
yeah, so
I like games that have multiple endings. That's always cool.
yeah, there's so many. NPCs and stuff. They give you options. Um, that I know I missed some storylines because I totally mishandled it. Um, I bet you there's a couple of NPCs that were wanting to talk to me, and I went, "Oh God, it's a bad guy!" and snuck up behind him and hit him,
Yeah.
and then ended up having to kill him eventually. So it's also another one of those games that there's a new games plus at the end. So
Mm.
you play through the game, and then and once you finish it, it automatically starts you over, but you have all your stuff.
Yeah. So
Well, at
everything's a
least
little
most
bit
of it.
harder, but you're already leveled up.
Yeah, I get my
That's kind
plus
of
10
cool.
axe, which was important, and my
Yeah.
cannon.
There you go.
But um, as I'm playing, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm totally doing the new game plus and doing all this stuff again. And just like Horizon Zero Dawn, I finished it, and then there was that moment like, crap, I don't know if I want to play now. Because it's over, and there's that whole
Yeah.
um, um, survivor's remorse, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it,
Yep.
but it's like, dang, I finished it. Now I could start over and do all this stuff, but it's not the same now.
Yeah.
you know. So now I'm going to go back and play Blood Souls 3 or
Dark
Dark
Souls
Souls
3. Which is, I'll be interested to see how you feel with Dark Souls 3 that you got frustrated with after being able to beat Bloodborne and then stepping back into that game. Because and I don't know if you knew this, but Miyazaki, who did Bloodborne, he did that first and then went to Dark Souls 3. So it might be that you are able to pick up Dark Souls 3 and be able to play through it a little bit better after going through all that you did with Bloodborne. I'd be interested to see
Yeah, I
how
know.
the progression within yourself and how you think about the game changes as you
Yeah,
move on.
I will be curious about that as well. I do know one big difference, and a guy I work with, he's played all the Souls, and he's just now starting Bloodborne. And he said the biggest difference he's noticed so far between Bloodborne and the Souls games is the Souls games you have a shield and you can block.
Mm,
So diving and all that other stuff to get out of the way is a smaller window because they want you to block more. So you could be tumbling and stuff and they'd still be able to hit you.
I
Blood
gotcha.
Bloodborne, there's no shield. So dodging and parrying is the big part of that game. So there's times they're taking a swing right through you, but because you're tumbling, nothing hits you.
Gotcha.
So I'm be curious to see how I do that because I'm so used to hitting circles, so I dive this way or that way instead of it's one of the left trigger buttons.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I'm going to mess that up for a little while.
Yeah.
But
That'll be
yeah, me
interesting.
too. I'm curious to see how it goes.
Very cool, very cool. Well, I go in a completely different direction from you.
Okay.
You have this open world RPG action adventure type game, and my game that I played, hey, yours came out. What'd you say yours came out? 15, 2015.
Yeah, 15,
Mine's
15.
mine's 2016. So I'm
Oh,
not
so it's newer.
just just barely. Um, the game that I've got is called Shadow Tactics: Blades of the Shogun, and it's by I'm gonna go with Mimi Productions and published by Daedalic Entertainment. Um, it scored fairly high in Metacritic. It was 85, 92 on PC Gamer. But this is a tactical stealth game. This is a game where if you played Commandos back in the 90s, this is a very, very much like that, except a little bit friendlier. Commandos was one of those brutal games where if you made one little mistake, you were dead and toast, and you might as well quit and start over. This one's a little more forgiving. It gives you a little bit more options, but it's set in Japan around the Edo period, which I'm not. I go more feudal Japan type is how I describe it. I don't
Okay.
know what the Edo period is, but you've got samurais and um, it's horse and buggies. There's no cars, you know. Um, but it's very, very um, Japanese, yeah, feudal Japan. You know, the big buildings and things like that. But it's a real-time strategy game. But it is a tactical stealth game. So you certain missions you could have up to 5 characters that you're controlling. Each of them have different things that they do really well, and your job is to um, complete an objective. Whether it's some missions, it's just finding some information out, so you need to get close enough to within a sound circle of a bad guy to be able to hear what they're saying and stay there long enough without being detected. Because
So
if
it's a
you're
little like Metal Gear Solid in that.
yes, yeah, um, but unlike Metal Gear Solid, where you have just a singular person, here you have 5 people all with different skills. So you have Hyoto, who is a samurai, or he's a ninja. So he's you know super stealth, has a katana and can just slice people up. You've got Mujin, who is a big samurai. He has a bulking set of armor, and he uh, he's not very good at stealth. He's more one of his special abilities is that he runs in, gets within a circle of an area, and he swings his sword around and can take out anyone within that circle. As many bad guys are in
Nice.
that circle. Um, like commandos, you're trying to infiltrate an area and complete objectives. In commandos, if you got shot, you died. One shot killed you. It was very brutal. This one, you have a health bar, but it's not very big. You can get hit once, but if you get shot at, then the alarm sounds, and now there's twice as many bad guys that you're having to get through. So if you get shot, you should probably just reload and try again. Quick saves and quick loads are your friends. You use them a lot. Some of the other characters, which one of them that I thought was really cool is uh, Takuma. He is a he's an old man with a peg leg, and you run across him in the very first mission, and you get to use him in the first mission, and then all of a sudden you it looks like he dies in the very first mission. And you're like, oh, that's a bummer. Well, you find out that he was captured, and in another mission you have to go rescue him. But he's a
Nice.
sniper. He's a samurai. He is a feudal Japan sniper. His peg leg is the gun, which is,
Wow.
they talk about it, and you don't. This is a very God view, is what I call it. When you're playing the game, it's not third person like Bloodborne or first person or anything like that. You get to see a lot of the map, and the characters are very, very small on the screen. So you can't really tell that he's using his leg as a gun, but they talk about it between the characters. And I just think it's kind of funny. Um, but limited ammo. When you run out of ammo, you're out of ammo. You can sometimes there's some of the farther on missions that I've ran into, which I think I'm about halfway through the game. I'm guessing, because it says the publisher says that it's 15 to 16 hours of gameplay, and I've played about 8, somewhere between 7 and 8 hours, and so there's some of the later missions where there's different boxes set around, but only Takuma can pick up bullets for his gun. So you might be able to get there with one of your other characters easier, um, but they can't pick up the bullets and take them to him. You have to get Takuma over there, and he's slow because he's old and has a peg leg. There are certain things he cannot climb. You can take characters like Hyoto or Yuki, who is a kind of a thief type character, and they can climb up. They can climb up ivory on the walls, and they can climb up on roofs, and they can use like a almost like a grappling hook type thing to be able to jump up at certain areas of buildings and move quickly up onto the roofs. But Mugen and Takuma, they can't do that stuff. They need ladders or stairs, and stairs are guarded very heavily, and ladders are guarded very heavily. So it makes it a little bit harder. Um, but it's and it's really kind of fun. I enjoy these type of games. I really enjoy stealth games. I loved Commandos from the 90s, and I tried to go back and play it. I bought them, I repurchased them on Steam when they're for a couple dollars, and they're just so hard to play. They were hard back then, but even now I don't know if my brain just doesn't work that way anymore. But this game really fits that niche. It fills that void that I was left by Commandos, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It's
Nice.
it you have to, much like Bloodborne and the Dark Souls games, you have to be willing to lose and start over. You any of these tactical stealth games, you're never going to get it right the first time, and sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error of, okay, this is what I want to do, how am I going to make this work? And um so it you have different things you can do to distract guards, and you might have to try it once, like distract him this way, and does that move the right number of people, make them look somewhere so you can kill someone and drag their body off before they all look back. um,
Holy cow.
yeah, it's tricky, and but it's that strategy that I absolutely love. Like, I love turn-based strategy games. This fits my real-time niche. I like real-time strategy games, but I don't have quick twitches, and this game kind of fills that void where I don't always have to have the quick twitch. I did find out that I had a wireless keyboard when I used my laptop. I had to replace my wireless keyboard with a wired, mechanical keyboard, because the reaction time wasn't fast enough.
Oh, dang. Really?
So, yeah, you needed to be able to switch between characters a little bit quicker, and sometimes I don't know if it was interference or what, but it wouldn't respond, and I'm sitting there jamming the buttons like, no, 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 do this, and it wouldn't work, and I'd get caught. Um, the other one of the things that I love, it's an addition to this game that is not in any of the Commando games, and I absolutely love it. And it's I think they call it Shadow Time. Basically, what you can do is you can put your characters in a certain area. You can hit the left shift key and you can switch to your characters and tell them you want to perform this action and set up actions to happen simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
So, and now, granted, if they have to move, you have to take that into account. So, if you have, Hyoto, your ninja, he moves way faster than Mugen. So, if you have the two of them standing together next to each other, and you have one of them and you have Hyoto go to the close one, and Mugen go to the far one, that isn't going to work very well. They're not going to be at the same time. So there's some planning and stuff that goes into it, but you can use it to set up your distractions. So you can set up, like, you can basically shadow time a distraction and move one of your characters in place and hit enter to activate the distraction, and you don't have to switch over to that character, throw the distraction. It automatically knows, okay, do that. And so you can get your timing of things down. And some of that timing, when you succeed, it's like it, it, it's like what you said, beating that first boss where you throw your hands up and like, yes. Oh wait, I didn't actually beat the level. I just killed one guy. Yes. Like, you finally get past that. Oh, it's called shadow mode. That's what it is. It's called shadow
Shadow
mode.
mode.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's
So it sounds a lot like you have to be like a chess mind kind
yes.
of
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah, it's and being able to think on the fly. Uh be patient and slow. Now, all of these missions have a speed run like objective that you can do. I think the last mission I did, the speed run objective was 30 minutes. It took me 3.5 hours to beat the mission.
Holy cow.
I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I don't think that fast. So I'm a very slow, methodical. I sit and watch patterns of the guards, because they're guarding something, so they all have a pattern. So it's waiting and watching that pattern. Okay, this is how they move. This is how long they spend in this. When they get to the top of their run, they stop here at this spot and they stand and look this direction and they wait for this many seconds. So I know, okay, now I can go. As soon as they start walking away, I can kill this guy and I have this long to be able to get out. And it that's the way my brain works, and that's the tactical side of my brain, and it that's what makes it so much fun. Um, you run across enemies that only certain characters can kill, so that runs you into other difficult situations where you're like, how do I? Well, I can't actually attack this guy, so I have to figure out how to go around him until I can get that character into position, and it just adds that level of complication, that level of strategy that you don't find in a lot of games. So
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
that's my thoughts. It is actually available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So look for it. You might be able to find it if it's a game that you like. It's on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows, and Linux, and Mac OS. So it's on everything.
It's on everything.
It's on everything. So that is called Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun.
Cool. Sounds like we found a couple of pretty good video games.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking it. I like it a lot. So. But I think that has been enough of our video game talking. We need to let you guys get back to your regular scheduled program of going and playing video games or board games or doing whatever geeky things you have. Um,
Yeah.
we have got some good shows coming up here in the future. One of the things that we're going to talk about, or the thing we're going to talk about next week, is we're going to get back into board games. We're going to talk about legacy board games. So go to our Facebook page, probably tomorrow. I might get it up tonight. We will have a questionnaire on our Facebook page. Look for the post about legacy board games. We have a questionnaire. If you have played a legacy board game, we want to hear from you. If you haven't played a legacy board game, we still want to hear from you. What your thoughts are, what your opinions are. Have you not played one because they scare you? Have you not played one because you don't like the idea of permanently changing your game forever? Um, Let us know, because we're going to talk about these things. Kip and I both have opinions on these things. We have some concerns and some questions, but neither of us have played any. So we need your guys' help with some input on why we're idiots for not playing these things. They look kind of cool, but I don't know why. So help us out with that. Check out our Facebook page for the Legacy Board Games questionnaire coming soon.
Yes. I'd be curious to see how many people line up with my way of thinking.
Yeah, but don't give away your line of thinking, because that's
I'm not
next
gonna.
week.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah. So tune in next week where we talk about legacy board games. We've got a lot of board game topics coming your way here because we like board games. We know you do too. So we've got some stuff coming your way. Um, and then I thought there was something else that I wanted to pimp. I haven't pimped it in a while, and it runs in the outro for this. But you guys should go check out the Podcast Arcade. You should go check out those guys, all those guys over there, all the different shows. Thepodcastarcade.com. Go check them out. Give them some love because they are great network people and they're a lot of fun. and they make some good stuff. I've been getting back into listening to podcasts, so um, I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying listening to Eddie be serious in an episode, which was a little scary, but I did, and it made me think. So good. I don't know. That's probably a bad thing if Eddie's making me think.
Well,
But
it could be a good thing.
so, all right, guys, that's where we're at. You got anything else you want to throw out there before we close this out?
Well, somewhere down the road, we need to talk about learning a foreign language.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
because
if
you're.
anybody wants to guess what foreign language I'm learning, feel free to send us an email or message us and
Hell,
see
just
what you
post
think I'm
post it on our
learning.
Facebook page. What
Yeah.
you just throw it out there. Just make a post on our page on Facebook.com/Geekvice. Just make a post and just put one word, whatever the language is. Just put that word, and we'll know what you're
Yep.
talking about. We'll see how many people like go, huh? So that'll be really cool. We'll know who actually listens to this show and who doesn't. So
That's right.
yeah, we will definitely have to talk about that. That is on our list as well. I'm not learning a foreign language, just that guy. I'm I'm too stupid to learn a foreign language.
You could do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
All right, guys. Well, be sure to go check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel through the Facebook page. Just go to the YouTube button on the left side of the screen and click subscribe. You can even set up your notifications through there. Pretty slick. I like it. You can also follow us on Twitter. You can follow that man at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. And of course, as always, you can reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks everyone for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.